Good morning. It's 11 a.m. on Saturday, October 12th, 2024. And I think I've got everything set up right now. Zero dropped frames. Am I showing that I'm broadcasting? Yes, because I can see myself on the monitoring screen. All right. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Hello, Chris Garrett, Alice, Rick, Selden, Jeff. Just finished with his week's yard work. Who is Jesse's girl? Maybe it's Jenny. I'll let you know that I watched Forrest Gump on Thursday for the first time ever. And why am I getting echoing in my ear? I think it's from Zoom.
John Williams said, "Hello,
Yes,
Doug
it
Stout."
is. I'll change
LOL.
that. Okay, I think I fixed that. Hello, John Williams. Yeah, and it was not missed on me that Forrest Gump's, girlfriend or heartthrob, love of his life was named Jenny. I noticed. Okay, so I'm gonna bring Zoom in. Let's see, I'm gonna give you my, whoops, I thought I was gonna give you my camera. Gotta change that to there. Now you should be able to see what I'm broadcasting. And then I'll go change the speakers to be my headphones so that I can
Ken Stout Live said his boat
hear.
was named Jenny as well.
His boat was, yes, that's right. He named his boat Jenny. So I'm gonna bring in Zoom participant, which is Jeff. Hello, Jeff. You're muted, Jeff. Let's see. Oh, I gotta go hit some other buttons over here. Oh, can you mute your YouTube audio? Did that do
Official
it?
Tim Tech said,
Yes.
"Greetings all."
Hello, Tim. And I think Bobby Warren and Tim were actually first in chat yesterday, but their chat messages don't show up now. So you finished yard work just before the show, right? Jeff? Oh, let me fix that. Yeah, how about now? Do you hear me now? Jeff, do you hear me now? Okay, yeah. So you should also hear SpeakerBot. One of the mutes I forgot to do. So what I had just said, I said you just finished yard work, did you? All right, I did a little bit of yard work on Thursday morning. Little bit, little itty bitty bit. I have less than that. I don't even have a lawnmower.
Ran Israel said YT can't hear Jeff.
Oh, have the grass removed? Let's, oh, there, hang
Z
on, Jeff.
Manor
Hang
said
on,
no
hang on,
audio from
hang on,
Zoom.
hang
Hi
on.
all.
They can't hear you.
Ken
Let's see
Stout
what I got
Live said
wrong
Jeff
there.
is not being heard on YouTube.
What the speaker, same as headphones, cable input, does that? I don't think that goes there. Let's see, how about mute Zoom participants. Why would Zoom not be heard? Let's go look at audio sources and put that on screen. Zoom audio right there. Okay, let's try it now, Jeff.
All right. Maybe that's the Ken Stout effect by osmosis. I don't know.
Perhaps. Let's see. Then I got to go back to camera 1 to turn off the audio. Then I can bring you back up on screen. Okay, so they did not hear anything that you said. You were talking about your small patch of grass. And that
Yeah,
you're
well,
thinking
I'm
about
going to get
taking.
rid of it. Until the end of the year, the water district here in Las Vegas will pay me $5 a square foot if I remove my grass. So I'm
Oh,
going to do artificial turf instead.
all right. Okay, so let me go fix. Oh, did you have any subjects or questions to bring up, or are you here to
No, I'm just
support and participate? Okay.
observing today.
All right. Thank you for doing that. Appreciate having you here. Now let's go fix my routine fix of the show on customization, changed so that anyone can participate in chat. And save that. And then I'll come over here to my list. Changed up my list a little bit. I just got rid of a bunch of old dead weight that's been hanging around forever. Oh, and I just had an audio in my ear to remind me to do the ad break. If viewer topics from email, I don't have any email topics. I don't think I'm going to go double check on that. Video comments, we'll get
Ran
to
Israel
do some
said,
of those.
why not make that the default option instead of tweaking every time?
Well, good question, Ran, and I do have a reason for not making that the default option, because that persistent pain in the derriere troll that's been following me for years, if I don't have live commentary on before the show is, he then sees, anybody can chat. So then he comes in and gives me trouble. But I don't think he ever actually watches the show. So I don't think he knows that I am routinely disabling that. But I do think that he checks up now and then to see if he can come back in and harass me. Yeah, that's it. Is that a good choice, Jeff, do you think?
Well, and you never caught me yet.
Yeah, I didn't, right. Okay. Let's see, in live chat. So if there's anybody in live chat.
Jim's comment.
Okay, I'll go get that. If there's anybody in live chat who has a question, those questions from the live audience or in comments or by email, they always take priority interest for me. That I won't stop a subject that I'm in process anymore. I want to finish whatever subject I'm on, then go to a question that somebody has. But if there's anybody there in chat who has a question, please ask it sooner rather than later, because sometimes people wait till the end of the show and then come up with a question. Why didn't you give me that earlier? Please. That's why, substantially, why we're here. Let's go see
Ken
what
Stoutlive
Jim...
said, does that hold true for anything from Ken Betts?
No, depend. If it's something that I think is worthy of a show topic, then yes, but not just random stuff. I want to keep it of interest to the audience that I'm trying to attract. Let's see. What was Jim's? You said a comment from Jim. All right.
Right after Ran Israel.
There it is. Good thing I show up late. Lots of technical problems to fix. Oh, you don't know the half of it. If I get to tell the stories of the problems that I ran into this morning. And then if I actually get to this topic down here, there's more problems there. Yikes.
I will have one comment on something that you and I talked about a while back. I still have not gotten around to trying to fix my OneDrive on my old desktop.
All right.
I have not forgotten about that, but I'm in the midst of building a new computer for something, for another project. And so the old computer is going to die next year with the loss of Windows 10 anyway. So
all right,
it's kind of down the priority list.
Are you going to do OneDrive with your new computer?
It's going to be mainly a Linux box. It will do a boot, but I'm working on a project for a professional society that I'm going to be doing a lot of calculations. And the software I have will run very well on Linux. So,
I see.
Anyway, at least I'm hoping that's what's going to happen. I've had a few teething problems with the machine, but it's an AMD CPU, and I had to send memory back twice to find some memory that was compatible with it.
Okay. Now, back on your OneDrive comment, is that something that you're willing to let me do on show, connect remotely and try to resolve whatever's going on with it?
It would be difficult on the old machine. On the machine I'm on right now, everything works perfectly on OneDrive.
Okay.
And the old machine is going to die a natural death sometime later next year. So I have all the emails you sent me about things to try. I just have not done it. And
Okay.
other things have jumped in the queue ahead of it.
All right. I see some questions coming up in chat, so let's go look at those. John Williams, why is everyone having trouble with 24H2 and Carrie yesterday has no problem on a live stream? I don't think it's the case that everyone's having trouble with 24H2. In fact, I'm hearing quite the opposite. Most people are not having trouble with it. There are some issues with it. The only issues I'm aware of are the ones that Microsoft has actually documented. But then, like that YouTuber that I commented on yesterday, complaining that Microsoft is not responding to people in the insiders program when actually they are. It was fully documented. So there's always issues with new updates. That's just routine, par for the course, but certainly not everyone. Very few people.
Jim
as far as I can tell.
KJ3N said it's always a small minority making the most noise.
Yeah, and that's what you notice. Not many people come along and say, "Wow, I installed this and I'm not having any trouble." We do have people saying that in response to the conversations on my channel and Carrie's channel about it, but most people not having any troubles. Me, myself, and I, like I've told you before, I wait until Windows Update delivers it to me. Not that I'm avoiding it. I just have no interest in taking the time to go seek it or install it. And then also, and actually, there is one of the documented problems is computers that use easy anti-cheat. That is on my computer. My computer has one of the situations that Microsoft has documented that they have, I think they call it a hold. And so Windows Update apparently, I'm suspecting, will not deliver it to me yet until they get that worked out. So if I were to force install it on my computer, I might very well have a problem. So I just don't, I saw that it resolved several annoying problems for Carrie. And that's part of why he became so enthusiastic about it. And that's great. That's great. I have those same symptoms that he was describing. I just don't care about those symptoms. Greg M. People insist on installing 24H2 on systems rather than letting the update come down. Microsoft blocks installs as they have issues. If you go ahead and install it on your own by downloading it, if you go ahead and install it on your own by downloading it, feels like that comment isn't finished, but yeah, if you install it without waiting, you might be circumventing the holds that Microsoft has put. Yeah, there it is. He says you may have issues. Yeah, so 24H2 must be a major overhaul since there's no small enablement package method to install it, only a full download and install. I haven't even looked to see if there's a Microsoft library download, a KB number associated with 24H2. No, that they usually don't. I don't think they do that with feature updates. That's right. I think they I don't know, I'm going to call it generational updates. I don't think they come through the library at all as a KB number. In fact, when it shows up on your screen as that it's available for you to install 24H2, I don't think it shows a KB number even there. Let's see, Daniel. This is talking about cars. I don't know if that's a conversation going on with someone else. Would you buy a Hornet RT based after listening to complainers? Dodge version, Alfa Romeo hybrid. I'm totally unfamiliar with that. Don't know what you're talking about. Don't need to know either. Danielle up here said, look at Macrium Reflect X. I looked at it only to the extent of reading through what it is, what it does, and decided I am not interested at all. And there was an extra fee for it, I think. I looked at it far enough to decide I wasn't interested at all. So no, not going to do anything with it. All right. I don't know if I've hit everything in there. My eyes just kind of bounce all around when I'm looking at chat these days. So if there's something that you think I ought to see or read, call it out to me with a speaker bot or hit me an orange. Tim Sal still on 22H2. Greg, regarding Macrium, says, same here regarding Macrium X, just going to continue with version 8. I have multiple different versions running on various different computers. I own 5 licenses of my own for my own computers. Where are we at? Okay, let's go to this Kerry Holzman follow-up comment regarding security change in 24H2. Oh, gotta do that button and that button and that button. And come over here to Kerry Holzman's comment. It was just a follow-up to the comment from yesterday's show. It says, thanks, Doug. Just to clarify, the network security change in 24H2 involves 2 things. I'm glad he gave this back because I did not give a fair representation about that yesterday at all. 1, the password required that you mentioned, but 2, SMB signing must be enabled on all devices. See more info, and then here's the article. And I think there was even more than that. There was a policy editor that you had to do. Was there? I don't think there was a registry change to do, but there were a few things. Now, going to this article here, let's put that into. Oh, it's in the comments. It's in the, yeah, that link is in the video comments, right? No, it's not. It's on his channel comments. Let me put that in. I'll put that into the description of the video so that people who watch this video later can go look at this document if they want it. If you want to go to that document, you can refresh your browser page and that link will show up in the comments. Accessing a third-party NAS with SMB in Windows 11 24H2. The other thing that I misrepresented about it yesterday is I believe I referred to this as a problem when doing peer-to-peer networking. And with the things that you need to do to fix the third-party NAS issue, it seems to me that if you're doing peer-to-peer networking between 2 computers that don't have local user account passwords, you may be having the same problem in regards to the guest user account fallback part of this whole thing. So anyway, this has a bunch of information. What changed? We made 2 major security changes. By default, SMB signing is required on all connections. Guest fallback is disabled. Yeah, this is the disabled part. That, it seems to me, that should affect peer-to-peer networking as well. That would be if you're trying to access shares on another computer and you're not using the same user account, the same username. Maybe using the same username without a password on both computers, maybe that still works. I don't know. But anyway, bunch of information here, so anybody that's having that problem can go research that, and if you have any further troubles or issues with it, we'd be glad to have a conversation with you, either through chat or email, or however you may like to do it. Let's go say hello to Jim. Coming up on the screen, Jim. Oops, let's go fix these buttons.
There's technical issues again.
Yep. Yep, that's my buttons. It's programmed. It's programmed design. It's technical issues by design.
Yeah, okay. You keep telling yourself that.
Well, where did Microsoft got knocked for something that was insecure by design?
Well, I think that's Microsoft in general, isn't it? But
yeah, I was expecting you to say, yeah, that's Windows, isn't it? Isn't that what they call that? All right. Did you have any opening comments or issues to bring?
The only comment I'll make is about, was it yesterday's video about the capture card working in BIOS. That is the design of how the hardware is implemented in the device.
Yeah, I would think so. Like,
as far
it's
as
not
the
a
laptop is concerned.
it's not a Windows issue.
Yeah.
It's the hardware itself, because it's
How they implement the VGA or HDMI or whatever in hardware determines whether or not you're going to get
Yeah.
something. So
I had not come across any laptop with HDMI where that worked. Back in with laptops with VGA, I did have that working in the
Right.
past. I don't know if it always worked on VGA laptops, but this is the first time I've seen it work with an HDMI laptop. Have you had it working with laptops?
generally, no.
Yeah.
Generally, I have the same problems that everybody else has until the display drivers kick in, or at least Windows itself comes up and gives you something. Yeah, it typically doesn't show you anything,
Yeah.
which is annoying, but it is what it is.
All right, I'm going to move on to another topic here. That button, and this button. From Ran Israel, comment regarding Rufus. Magic uses an answer file, accomplishes their magic with an answer file. I kind of reworded that a bit, and that one was in here. Yeah. Well, he got into yesterday's stream after it was over, and he said it was scheduled for 11 p.m. No, it was 11 a.m. It was accidentally scheduled for. And I didn't realize that until the show was substantially over or in progress. And I think what happened there is that when I went to schedule that the prior day, it will, the YouTube studio, live studio, will automatically default to a time that's within a few minutes. I think it like rounds off to the next 15-minute increment. And I didn't go fix that. So it must have been around 10:50 or so a.m. when the previous day when I scheduled that. Yeah, that's why I picked up the time.
Ran Israel said, sorry, I meant AM.
Yeah, that was obvious, Ran. So anyway, that was a little bit of humor. But then there's some more conversation here between Ran and Pineapple Road. Circa 26, that's 26 minutes into yesterday's video, he says, okay, so I dug. And Rufus is indeed using an answer file to perform its magic. It's buried deep inside the installation media's folder structure under, and he gives us the path where he found the unattended XML file. Pineapple Road responds to that with, I think Rufus uses the answer file to have Windows add the bypass NRO registry key. There's also a hide wireless setup option you can specify in an answer file, which is what I use, is what Pineapple Road is saying. And then the next one, Ran Israel to Pineapple Road. Yes, all the custom option that Rufus provides are implemented using the answer file. So just for anyone who's mildly curious or aggressively curious, that's how Rufus does it. I'm going to give thumbs up and hearts to those. I know Ran and Pineapple Road are around often enough that I'm not going to send them a timestamp. Carrie, I will reply later with a timestamp because I know he watches the show to some extent. I don't know that he watches every day all the way through. So I give him timestamps. And Pineapple Road, here I already responded to that one. He won't need a timestamp. Oh boy, you know what? This one, I've been postponing this over a month. I'm gonna let go of it. I'm just gonna give it a thumbs up and a heart. You've seen that I've given up on a lot of the topics that I've had day after day after day in the description. I just decided, you know what? If I haven't done it so far, then apparently I'm not going to get to it. Let it go. Stop feeling the pressure over it. Okay.
That's that thing from Frozen. Let it go.
Oh, is that another? I picked up some memes from you and other people in the channel, and I've got a new button on my Stream Deck. of memes, and I don't know if I'm ever going to remember to show them. So I'll just go ahead and show those. Let's see. Here, I've got this button right here called memes, and in my file folder it's called Doug's memes. So there's all these. I heard Ken Stout make comment on one of those that I picked up weeks ago from some comment on the channel, and sometimes I go and research them afterwards to see what they were about. So in order for these to play properly, I have to go back to my camera one. So they're called Doesn't Understand, I Watched, I'll Be Back, Inconceivable, On to Me, Your Honor, Never Nice, Big Show, Abby Normal, that's that one that Ken mentioned. Streams Entertaining, What's in the Box. 2 of those are yours, Jim. Do you know which ones? Oh, I don't know if he's even there. He's muted and he's not on camera, so he might not even be there. So I'll go ahead and play these.
I don't think he understands it. I don't think Doug will get it. Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, sorry. I was trying to read the screen on YouTube, and I had to make it full screen, and I couldn't see anything. So.
Oh, well, I'll show you. Do you see, they're back on YouTube now.
Okay.
It's kind of hard to.
I watched. I'll be back. Well, Inconceivable is probably one of them.
Yeah.
Let's see. Abby Normal. No, I don't think that one's me.
No.
No, I don't know what the other one is.
You don't recognize the other one. I'm not surprised that you don't recognize the other one, but you'll recognize it when we get to it. So that, I just did the one that doesn't understand. Then here's the one called I Watched.
I watched, not real attentively.
Because, yeah, that's a thing. He often misquotes me.
I'll be back.
That one's obvious.
Okay.
I have to wait for the timer to end before I can hit the next one.
Inconceivable.
That one's credit to Jim because he's brought that word to me. I had to go search that to find where does he get that from?
Oh no, they're on to me.
I just recently watched Liar Liar with my grandson, so 2 clips out of there.
Your Honor, I object.
And then what's this one? Oh, Never Nice. This one is actually inspired by me. You know when I've told you that I like to do things complicated?
Mm.
We never, ever do nothing nice and easy.
So I think that is appropriate to my way I do things.
Ribbit shoe. Ribbit.
And then here comes the one when we talk about normals.
Abby Normal. Abby Normal.
Now that Young Frankenstein, I searched for it trying to watch it because I never actually watched it, but apparently it's not available anywhere. And I've seen people complaining in my Google searches asking, why isn't it available? Why is it hidden?
Yeah, that makes, well, who knows? It's kind of like you don't see very much anybody playing Blazing Saddles for that matter, because that one you couldn't get away with today.
All right. Oh, yeah. If there's a lot of
yes.
Oh, politically incorrect content to it. That makes
putting
sense.
it mildly, yes.
Yeah.
Young Frankenstein, I still see fairly regularly over Direct TV.
Do you?
So it may be a copyright thing that they're still showing it enough. It's hard to find online. I don't know.
It might be not just copyright, but who owns the rights, and they're not letting anyone use it. But anyway, yeah, if somebody finds a way for me to watch that, I'd be interested. So let's see then, what is next here? Let's see, I gotta come back to camera 1 to see this next one. Okay, here, this one.
If you don't find these streams entertaining, there's something wrong with you.
That was Jim. Do you even remember saying that, Jim? He's away from his microphone again, I think.
No, I'm here. I wasn't watching the screen.
Yeah, there's nothing visual on the screen. This is audio only. Here we go again.
Oh, well, then
If you don't find these streams entertaining, there's something wrong with you.
I have to have the YouTube.
Read chat, please.
That should be going over. Oh, you know what? Maybe I don't have the audio on those coming over Zoom.
All right. Well, I'm going to mute my audio and I'll rewind just a little bit.
All right. All right. Yeah, I might
We
not.
have a question in chat.
Okay, let me just hit this last button. I've got.
Ken
I'm
Stout
not,
Live said we are hearing Jim on YouTube.
You're hearing Jim. Yeah, that's not the question. I'm not sure that on Zoom that they're hearing the audio when I press these buttons. I don't think they're hearing them through Zoom audio. So Jeff, you could tell me if you hear this one that I'm pressing right now.
What's in the box?
You didn't hear it, Jeff. Yeah, I don't think I've set those up to play through Zoom. All right. So you guys would have to go replay the YouTube to hear all that. Yeah. See, that's...
ZV Manor said Jim disabled the Windows recall.
Jim,
Okay. All right. I got it.
You heard it? Yeah.
Yeah, I heard it.
Yeah, Ken's saying we are hearing Jim on YouTube. He didn't understand what I was saying. That's commonplace. Movie Munchies reacted to Young Frankenstein. Okay, fine. And I don't know what Zavi is trying to say when he says Jim disabled the Windows recall.
I don't follow that whole thing, but whatever.
Yeah, Windows recall was a feature. Or is he saying, Jim disabled the Windows? Do you recall that? I'm not sure what I don't know what he's talking about.
I have no idea what that's referring to.
Ran Israel does an exclamation mark. See, that's the read chat. Question from TG1128. I think that's time code. Is TG stand for time code?
It's somebody's initials.
Oh, Carrie's here. Hello, Carrie. Nice to see you. Carrie, do you have a show today? You didn't. When I looked to see if you have a show scheduled today, it wasn't there. So if you're intending to do one, I'll do a redirect before the end of my show today. Here he says, hello. Question from TG. Oh, here's TG. Oh, thank you. Perfect. Ran Israel. Showing me somebody who's not blue yet. They're new into the chat. So welcome, TG. I'm having an issue with HP Xeon Workstation. I upgraded it from Windows 10 Pro to 11 Pro. That was easy. When I plug in any USB device, I get blue screen of death. Windows and HP say it's updated. Any suggestion? Well, Windows and HP say it's updated. I'm not sure what you're saying there. Are you saying that the computer is completely updated according to HP and Windows?
Well, when he runs Windows Update, he doesn't see anything else. And when he runs HP, whatever thing it's called, he doesn't see any updates available.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. When you upgraded to 11 Pro, is that 24H2? Since 24H2 is just newly out, there are some issues that can cause a problem. And I think didn't I see one of those is oh, come on, what's that chip that HP uses to speed things up between the hard drive and memory? Optane. I think there might have been an issue on computers that use Optane drivers.
It'd be a shocker.
When he updated from 10 Pro to 11 Pro, did you do that through Windows Update, or did you use installation media to maybe do a fresh install? It would have been preferable to have Windows 10 Pro and then click within the Windows Update to let it update through the Windows Update delivery functions, because then if there's any issues that Windows knows about, it will block or hold, or maybe put you at 23H2.
Yeah, he answered your question.
All right, let's go see. Yes, Windows Update says it's complete. That doesn't answer my question about how you did the update. The HP Assist app says there are no updates available. That also does not answer my question. The Windows 11 ISO was created a month ago using the Media Creator. This implies that you upgraded to Windows 11 by running setup from installation media or by doing a full fresh install. Either of those would bypass the Windows Update process for upgrading to Windows 11. What I'm talking about is the best way for you to go about doing that upgrade is when you're on Windows 10, come into Windows Update, and if it tells you in here that your computer is qualified for Windows 11, click here to upgrade to it now. That would be the best way to do it so that Microsoft can most effectively manage the upgrade.
Yeah, is it like a fresh install upgrade?
Okay, let's go with Jeff's question. Repeat that.
So you prefer that to a fresh install upgrade, like running setup from a USB that's been created from the ISO or something?
Not in all circumstances. Depends upon the circumstances. In this circumstance, when a fresh install did result in a problem, then I would want to restore a image backup and go at it a different way.
All right.
And
something else I'd like to point out.
Go ahead, Jim.
His ISO is from a month ago. They were tweaking that damn thing up until release.
Right. The ISO created from Media Creator a month ago would not have been 24H2.
Well, it might have been 24H2, but it was not. They hadn't actually released it, and they were still tweaking it. So there could be a bug in the ISO that he's using.
Would the Microsoft Media Creator been able to create a 24H2 before it was released?
Yes, because I downloaded a 24H2 in like May or June and did an install. So if he's like, I'm going to release preview or a canary, if he's in one of the preview channels and he's doing that ISO, there could have been a bug a month ago. That's probably causing his problem.
Sure, if he was doing it from a preview release.
He just explained what he did in more detail.
All right. The update was performed while logged into with Windows 10 and running setup from ISO, not a clean install. Yes, Windows says it was able to upgrade to 11. Now, I'm going to say something here that I have not researched. So with that caveat, it's my understanding if you run
Ron
setup,
Israel said, when I checked on October 4th, the media creation tool and ISO download option were still 23H2.
October 4th. Oh, October 4th. That's after the release date. The media creation tool was still 23H2. But it's my understanding that if you run setup from a ISO image, you're going to be bypassing the Windows Update holds and its management of evaluating whether there's any known problems on your computer. Has he told us yet if he's got 23H2 or 24H2?
Yeah, I think Rand was implying that the guy would have gotten 23H2 from the official channel at that point.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. It should have been 23H2. And so that would indicate less of a trouble. Now, then another thing would be the drivers. Does HP have the drivers for that computer specifically for Windows 11? When you go onto HP's support site and look for drivers, there's a place where it'll ask you for what version of Windows you're using. Does it have Windows 11 in that list so that you know that they do actually have Windows 11 drivers? and he says it is, the ISO is 23H2. So it's not the 24H2 troubles, but there is still the device drivers. When he says that HP says it's up to date, I'm assuming he means through their, when you go into their website and try to update.
Well, HP Assistant or something, maybe.
Something like that, yeah. That doesn't necessarily mean you've got the right and best drivers for that computer. And let's see, can you give us the serial number for your computer, TG? If you don't know how to get that, I'll show you right here. You bring up the command prompt, and I'm gonna, so I did the Windows key and then type CMD. I don't think you have to do run as administrator, but I'm gonna click run as administrator anyway. And then when you get to a command prompt, it is WMIC BIOS get serial number. I'll leave that on the screen. Well, I'll hit enter and it's still on the screen. And then let me make that bigger. I'll come up here to the upper right icon and choose properties and make that a larger font size so that you can see it easier. So there's the command WMIC space BIOS space get space serial number. And because you're on an HP, it will give you the serial number there. Then you can double click on that serial number and paste it into, double click the serial number and then press to highlight it, then Control C to copy, then come into chat and do Control V to paste it. And then we'll go look them up together. We'll go look up to see whether HP has Windows 11 drivers. Now another thing, let's see, sorry I'm not able to get the serial number right now. I'm assuming it would be available running system information. That's been kind of hit and miss. Windows key, system information. Of course, I'm not on an HP computer. I've gone in on HP computers to find it in here, and I've found it not quite as obvious. But anyway, he can't get it right now, so maybe that computer isn't available. Carrie's asking for the model number for the HP. You could give us that if you can't give us the serial number, if you have the model number, but the model number is kind of specific. What else has he told us about the computer? Does he give us anything about the model? But still, the best way to find the drivers for it is with the serial number, because that'll take us to the drivers for that specific computer. Another way to go about this would be, if you have an image backup, restore the image. Of course, go through the my first choice is go through the upgrade without using the ISO. Just click through Windows Update to do the upgrade. But another thing you could do is to export the drivers. And Carrie Holzman did a great video explaining how to export the drivers. I've done it on this show a few times. I won't go in to show you that right now, but we can help you with that. Carrie is asking, how old is the HP? That would be good enough. That would be helpful information right there, because even though you have it all up to date according to HP, if HP hasn't produced drivers for that, it's kind of hit and miss whether that is really going to work. Now, let's see, what is the symptom that he had had to do with a USB device. When I plug in any USB drive, so it's actually an external drive or a thumb drive, there could be an issue that direction. Is this a thumb drive that you're plugging in? Is there a USB cable connected to an external enclosure for a hard drive? And I'm kind of spitballing there. I don't know that that's going to cause you a problem, but what I'm looking at here is identifying, is it actually anything USB connected to any USB port? Do you have different kinds of USB ports?
Ran Israel said, what about other USB devices other than storage devices?
Yeah, a USB mouse, connected USB mouse, a USB keyboard. Does that also present a blue screen of death. How about a picture of the blue screen of death? We can also get to a log file that gives details about the blue screen of death. Now, lots of times that can take you down a wild goose chase, but we've had times where that has been helpful to kind of narrow down where the problem might be, not always real targeted. I think it's Wintermute that has more experience than I pursuing that. I think it was Wintermute. Standard 16 or 32 gigabyte flash drive gives blue screen of death. USB mouse plugged in worked fine. Is that those flash drives, could there be an issue with what's contained on them? I don't think so. I'm thinking about other troubleshooting for the USB ports. Do you have an image backup? That's, like I said before, that's my first favorite, best way to go is restore your Windows 10 image backup and then go through Windows Update using the Windows Update feature in Windows instead of running setup from the USB device. Only USB drive gives blue screen of death. No image backup was taken before the upgrade. Yeah, and because you didn't do it through Windows, I don't think you're able to revert back to Windows 10. That's another disadvantage of doing it that way. If you go to reset this PC, is there an option in here to revert to Windows 10? If it's been less than, I think it's, what is it, like 10 days, something like that, that you can revert back to the prior Windows edition. If that choice is in here, then you could go that route. But if you do that, I'd rather you have an image backup as it stands right now. You could do an image backup as it stands right now and do a completely fresh install, deleting all your existing partitions as a troubleshooting step, and see if you can get the computer to behave properly. If so, that gives us an indication that your hardware will work with Windows 11. Then you can go restore the image of your current configuration, and we could pursue further trying to resolve the problem. If you don't want to lose your current installation, it's entirely possible that you have a lot of programs, configurations set up on your computer now that you don't want to have to recreate from scratch. But if you're okay recreating from scratch, then that's another way to go about it, is actually boot from the Windows 11 installation media, delete all the existing partitions, and then do a full fresh install. Go get your HP drivers and see how that goes. No, it's been a month since the upgrade, so it can't revert. I feel like we've thrown a lot of stuff against the wall. Does anything appeal to you out of all of that? And is it, I know you can't get us the serial number now. Will you be able to get it to us in a future day? I have shows 6 days a week, Monday through Friday, starting at 9 a.m. Pacific time. Saturday starts 11 a.m. Pacific time. You can send me an email at this address and I can send you the Zoom credentials. You could come in on Zoom. We can have conversation together. I can connect remotely to your computer. We can do some troubleshooting in regards to that issue. Carrie again asking, how old is the HP computer? Can you give us an approximate? Is it more than 5 years old? Is it more than 8 years old? Is it 2 years old? TG. Oh, we need to make TG blue. We know you're not a troll. I'm going to add you as a moderator. That means your name will show up in blue, so we know that you've been around and we've had conversations with you. We know that you're not a troll. I think I need to contact HP to check on driver updates. I can get back to you with a serial number next week, and the PC is 2 or 3 years old. All right. Well, yeah, I think you told us before that it is qualified. It was qualified for Windows 11. Yeah, that'd be great. We'd love to continue working with you on this. Let me go bring up Zoom and say hello. Let's go get another ad break. And I'll call this a subject break. Hello, Alex Cheek.
Hello, Doug, Jeff,
Hi.
Jim.
Did you have any topics or questions to bring to the table?
Not today.
Okay. Thank you for coming to hang out with us. I'm going to head back over to my topics list. And let's see, it was TG, right? Yeah, TG. Yeah, you can use the SpeakerBot commands too if you understand what's going on there. Exclamation mark C will give me a prompt to read chat, and then I'll read your message after that. I won't explain all the others to you at this point. Oh, I guess I don't need to give Kerry I don't need to send him a timestamp when I responded to his comment there, since he's here. Client story. Oh, recovery from power outage this morning and other issues. I have photos and videos. I went out to the attorney's office that I've talked to you about many times to swap the backup drives and the SAS drives, and there were a few problems. So that is a client story. Let me go get those pictures and videos. Bunch of pictures here and some videos. I'll come back to you in a little bit, Jose. Starting with this first one. Now let's see, I'm gonna have to check and see how I'm set up with audio these days. No, I don't. Let's see. Am I going to have that audio anywhere? Oh, here. Oh, I think maybe it did play. Try it again. Yeah. It's just the alarm that you're hearing. It's really a annoying alarm. So I'm going to mute that and play this piece again. What we have here is the two servers. This alarm is ringing. These screens are orange. It tells me there's a problem. Houston, we have a problem. So we're going to explain a few of these things and what the resolution was. Let's make this bigger, and right arrow key, I think will get me to the next one. Nope, it didn't. On this one, this audio's still muted. It's just the alarm, so I'm not going to give you the audio. I've described to you before how I swap out these SAS drives, and I've got a picture further along that's going to show these. These two are the mirrored boot drives, and every 2 weeks I swap one of these out. So that gives me a full image backup of the boot drives. These two are mirrored images of the data drive, and this one is a hot swap. Play this through, and I guess the reason why I was doing this video is because I wanted to show you those blinking lights. It is normal for these drives to be blinking green and amber. The amber is just indicating that the drive that's in this slot, Dell is recognizing that it is not an original Dell drive, and there's no way to get around that. So it's completely normal and acceptable that these are blinking orange this way. That was not the source of the trouble of that alarm. We'll come to this one. Here is the trouble, is these power supplies. So I just played those through, and then I'm going to play it through again and pause it and explain what's going on. Let's make that bigger. And then here's pause. These are the power supplies in this rack mount Dell server. They are hot swappable, and I have swapped them before due to a defect. Right now, there's not a defect. What has happened is that there was a power outage in the building, and the battery backup has this unpleasant feature, the way that it works. I'm going to be explaining it to you as we go through these. But while we're looking at this, I want to point out the way to swap these. If I can unplug the power and then push this tab to the right, and then with this bracket right here, I can pull that power supply out and replace it while the computer is up and running off of the left power supply. So it's redundant power supplies. This one with the green light is still operational. This one where the light is turned off is not operational. That's what's causing the alarm. The server is still up and running. There was no interruption to service. And showing on the bottom unit, I happen to have those backwards. You see the one on the right is on, the one on the left is off. Then we'll go on to the next video. I'm following the power cord on that light that was off. I knew where it went. I'm just trying to show you where it goes to. It goes to the back of this uninterruptible power supply, battery backup. And then I go around to the front side of it and show you what it looks like.
Jesus, I haven't seen a Phantom drive in a while.
A what drive?
I haven't seen a Phantom drive in a while.
Oh, yeah, I've used those quite a lot. Here you see that this is outputting 0 volts. And this is the way that this CyberPower UPS behaves. When it experiences a power outage, you have to come press buttons to turn it back on. So what I have is those redundant power supplies for each server. One of them is plugged into this UPS. The other is plugged into a normal surge protector, and it has power. So what happened is when the power went out in the building, the servers, both servers, continued running off of the battery backup for this short-lived power outage. When the power came back on, now the power is on through the surge protector, but the battery backup is no longer functioning. It kept the servers up for the life of its battery power, apparently. But then when the power came back on, I'm not sure how it's working, what it's doing, but it does not come back to life. I wish it did, but it doesn't. And there might be some kind of adjustment for it, but I've got this workaround that works just fine. So there I'm pressing play to go along. You see that's got 0 output. Now what I have to do is open this little plastic panel here, turn it off, and that immediately stops the alarm, and then just turn it back on again. And then here you can see that it's outputting 124 volts. It's showing 2 bars of load. And then I think I go back around and show that both those lights are on now. Yeah, so both of these power supplies are receiving power. Now, we're not done. Now I come back up here and show that this button down here, you can cycle through, and it shows that I got 17 minutes. It thinks it will run both of these servers for 17 minutes off of its battery. Press the button again. See, now it says 19 minutes. I'm not sure why that changed. It probably was just a estimation calculation here showing that I have 100% battery capacity. It's fully charged. And there's an input voltage of 124. Right there says input, 124 volts. And then output is 124 volts. Runtime 19 minutes. And 37%. This is on load. Over here it's showing load. So it's 30% load right now to run those two power supplies on those two servers. Now let's go on. And here I'm showing that these servers have been up for 7 days. So they did not experience a power outage. The servers didn't crash due to the power outage. The next photo, now I can use the right arrow key because these are not videos. This one also has been up for 7 days and a number of hours, minutes, and seconds. And then these screens have turned to blue, which is their normal state. And this other server on the bottom is blue. And then here I'm doing the swap. Let's go hit one of these ad breaks because I keep getting this reminder in my ear to do an ad break. This is where I'm doing these swaps, and I showed you recently about my labeling. The FS, it stands for file server, and the last 4 digits of the serial numbers. The label up here tells me that this drive is to be swapped in bay 0. So here I take out the bay 0, and here you see how that was labeled. That drive's always going to go into bay 0, and it swaps with this one. Next picture, I've got the replacement drive in place, and here's the one that I just took out.
So what is, hey Doug,
Yep.
what is on the hot swap drive?
What is on it? Nothing's on it. It's there as a spare.
Oh,
it's a spare.
There for a minute, I thought you were using the hot swap drive as an extra boot drive, and I was like, how is that possible? Because
No.
you wouldn't be able to take it out while it.
No, the hot swap drive, if one of these two data drives goes bad, then it will roll over to this hot swap drive and use it, implement it. But this is a 1 terabyte drive, which makes it a replacement for these two. These boot drives are much smaller. Now, remember, I've told you before, this is an old server. It's overdue to be replaced. We are working on that. So don't go yelling at me about that. This is 146 gigabytes on these drives, these boot drives. I'm showing you real world, what do we deal with in real world computer support for small businesses. They don't have the budgets of the big companies. Let's see, I think that was all on, oh, here this is the server that's in the bottom rack. CS is for COM server, same idea. This one's showing bay 0. I'll pull out the one that I'm swapping. Each time I do these swaps, I'm either swapping bay 0 for both servers or bay 0 or bay 1. He holds up one finger to indicate 0. Such a Doug. And then here I go into the Dell Open Managed Server, and it shows me here that it's rebuilding the mirror image between these two. So what this RAID level 1 mirroring does is that if one drive goes bad, the other one just keeps the server running to give you time to replace the defective drive. When you replace the defective drive, it'll rebuild to recreate the mirror image. Okay, so here is another, this is a different subject on the same servers. There were like 3 or 4 problems that I ran into this morning at this office. Opera Crash Reporter, that Dell Open Managed, I'm running that in a Opera browser because the Windows server, what was it? R2 8, version 8, R2, something like that, is no longer supported. So current day browsers don't work on it. So I use Opera, but I couldn't reopen Opera after going through this. So I found all of these Opera processes. I had to go in task on all of them in order to get Opera to open on this server. The pictures back here was, I'm not sure which server this was. I think this was the, no, COM server. There it is. The COM server. The file server was having the problem with Opera. So I had to go in task on those before I could get Opera to open. You see a whole bunch of them there. I didn't actually have to in task on all of them because some of them, when I in tasked on them, they took out multiples of them. So then here's rebuilding that mirror image. Okay, I'm gonna pause from there. There is more to tell about that. I'm gonna go say hello to the additional people that we have in Zoom and hit a couple buttons here. I think that'll do it. So I hit my buttons first. Oh, gotta move that. And let's see. Hello, Jose Alvarez. You're muted. Are you gonna say hello to me? Hello, Jose. Jose, he's watching something else, right?
So it looks like to me, yeah.
All right, so let's move on to Josh. Hello, Josh.
He has something else going on.
Hello, Doug. I came over to join the mammoth over here.
All right, very good. Thank you. Jeff, could you repeat that?
Yeah, Jose has something else going on today. He's helping something out of the church.
Oh yes, I have seen that he joins in. I saw him join in on Ken's stream while he was doing one of his
They have
productions.
an eye on that while he's observing us.
Okay, that's all right. That's quite all right.
Hey, Doug.
Yes.
There's probably a rabbit hole you don't want to go down, but I just would like to know, would it not be possible to like upgrade the 2008, do an in-place upgrade to like 2019, just an evaluation copy until you can get a replacement?
I don't have any reason to do that. And this is where if it's not broke, don't fix it. Just because it's out of support doesn't mean it's not broke. And Dell is definitely not going to have drivers for that newer operating system. So doing that upgrade while this company is relying on these servers to be working every day, if something went wrong, they would ask me, why did you do that? Well, because Alex Cheek said I should. That's not going to work. No, absolutely not. These servers, I treat them with kid gloves. I'm very, very reluctant to do. Very reluctant to do anything that I don't need to do, and I don't need to upgrade to a newer version. And these servers are they are not functioning as domain servers. We don't use Active Directory. They are just file server and for currently one program, in the past 2 programs that require a true file server. But I don't even think we're using any SQL currently. No, that's not true. There is one program, and I described it to you recently about that there's one user in the office using this program that requires SQL server, the light. I don't remember what they call it, light version or something like that. So anyway, I'm going to get back to my stories from this morning because there's more. Let's see, there we were doing the rebuild, SQL Express. Yeah, maybe that's what it was. That TG says in chat. Up till this morning, I didn't have any labeling on site for them to be able to deal with that alarm themselves. There have been a couple of occasions where I drove out there to deal with the alarm, which means I went out, opened that little panel, pressed the button, and then left. Now, I was reluctant to talk them through that over the phone because there's another battery backup down on the bottom of this rack that's a regular plug-in style, not a rack mount battery backup. The alarm could have been coming from there. Also, when one of these SAS drives goes bad, there's supposed to be an alarm. There's an audible alarm available. There's a setting for an audible alarm available in the configuration of the SCSI controller on these computers. However, many, many years ago, I researched that because that didn't seem to be working. And I found that the alarm was turned on. When I researched it further, I found that the firmware and the software that interacts with that RAID controller, the RAID controllers, the SAS RAID controllers, the settings were there, but the alarm wasn't physically present on that model of the adapter card, or the RAID card, the RAID controller card. And it was like, it was a feature that was in progress, but they, as of that model level, they didn't have it. So the documentation said. But anyway, so this morning I wrote this and I realized that I know that if I almost brought the receptionist over because she was there this morning to ask her to read it and then tell me if it makes sense to her. And I know they're going to read this and say, I don't understand. So I wrote, if alarm is ringing, and this light is on, I'm putting an arrow down to here, this light, and this light is off, I use an arrow to point down to this light, then turn cyber power off and on, off, then on. And I know when they get to that part, they're going to say, what? What's a cyber power? Well, now we go to the next picture. And so here I put this label over here. On the right, you can see cyber power. That's the name of the device. And I got a better picture of this note. Cyber power. If the alarm is ringing and the right light is off, so I put an arrow pointing back to where that right light is. And from when you're reading this note, you can see that other label that's on the back of the server, back where that arrow is pointing. The right light is off, then open the plastic door, press the button once, and the alarm should stop. Then press the button again to turn it on. I have, on a scale of 1 to 10, with 10 being fully confident that they will understand this, I'm about a 2. Jim's at a 1. Jim gives it a 1. I give it a 2. I thought about how can I write this so that they will understand. And what I've come to is I will remember.
Tim Tech said 2.
Tim said 2. I have no idea what you're talking about, Tim.
Ran Israel said that they'll probably think turn the alarm back on.
Oh, yeah, turn it on. Why would I want to turn the alarm back on? That's what Ran is suggesting. They think I mean to turn it on, to turn the alarm on. No, what I mean, turn the cyber power device on. The cyber power battery backup rack mount unit. Yeah, like that's going to help.
Yeah. No, we're talking about normals here.
Yeah. Okay, Jim just said, what do I have? Don't I have one of these buttons is normals, right? Oh yeah, this is where the Abby normal button comes
normal. Abby normal.
Yeah, there we go.
Ran Israel said, remove the last 4 words and put a period after again.
Last 4 words after again. Then press the button again. I like that. I think that's good. A lot of times less is more. That makes a lot of sense. Put a period there, that might help. But still, I think what realistically is going to happen is when they have the alarm ringing, they're going to call me, and over the phone, I will guide them to these notes over the phone, because I will remember that I have these notes here and I have photos of them. That's something that I really like about the iPhone photos, is I can go into my photo library and choose places. I can zoom in. I can use a map to get to their office and see all the photos that I've taken at their office. So that's how I manage photos at my clients' offices.
I just had to do the same thing for my mom, for my grandma's TV. If her TV disconnects from the Wi-Fi or the channels disconnect again on the cable there. But I'm about like you, Doug. I don't think, even with those instructions I wrote out, I don't think she's going to be able to navigate the menu and do it without calling me.
Right, right. I think these notes will help, but maybe they're going to evolve over time. I don't know. Here, this picture gives you the perspective of where these are at in relation to each other. Here's the last note that I was showing you, and the first one I read was back here on the other side. So, I mean, it's such a simple thing to do, but it's difficult to write that out. And the reason why I felt that I needed to write the notes is because I need them to verify that one light is off and the other light is on, because the alarm that they hear might be coming from something else. It might not be that circumstance. Okay. There are more issues I encountered this morning. Here's the next issue.
Hey, Doug.
Ran Israel said,
Hang on a
FYI,
moment.
we're missing some parts of the conversation because of the ad breaks.
Missing some parts of the conversation. All right. Well, I was a bit overdue on an ad break there. I will try to do better with that. Go ahead, Josh.
How loud will be the one that they're hearing?
Oh, they are very loud. They are.
Okay.
When I went into their office, the inner office door was closed where the alarm was ringing, and I could hear it as soon as I came in the back door to the building. And it is super annoying. Okay. Thank you for telling me that, Ran, about the ad breaks. I've got to do better with those. And again, for those who are wondering, I manually put in the ad breaks to try to prevent YouTube from putting them in at points where I don't want them. But I have to, if I don't put them in frequently enough, then YouTube will start putting them in again. This C2G backup. This coding is for COM server. You've heard me use the name COM server. So this is one of the external backup drives. It's labeled C2 because it's the second of 2 external backup drives for this server. The file server has 4 external backup drives. The COM server only has 2 backup drives. It doesn't have as much data on it. And the G tells me what drive letter this drive should operate as. When I did the swap of this drive, it did not come up as G, it came up as F. So this is one of the things that I have to check when I swap these drives. Right arrow key shows you I go into computer management, go into disk management, and down here for that external drive, we see the C2G. It's supposed to operate as drive G. It's currently recognized as drive F. So I right click in this area and select this menu option for change drive letter and paths. And then go down to this list and change it to the G drive. When I do that, I get this warning message. Some programs that rely on drive letters might not run correctly. Do you want to continue? Yes, I do, because I know what I'm doing. I'm a computer professional. Some days I'd rather be a bus driver. So now we see C2G, and it is not showing the G drive here at all. What? Why didn't it show that there? See here, it shows F. After I changed it to G.
Official Tim Tech said joke of the dia.
It's not showing a G. Yeah, Tim, we'll call that joke of the day. Right arrow key, and down here you see C2G is showing as the G drive. Now I'm moving along to the next problem. I'm going to pause here on my conversation, do an ad break. Bring Zoom up on screen, got the same people, I got everything set up right. Yeah, I think you're right, Ran. I think it just took a second for that to refresh. Oh, on Baby Beast, I do have an ad playing right now. I have Baby Beast monitoring my channel on my DougBetts pilot at yahoo.com, where I'm not even subscribed to my YouTube channel. See the subscribe button right there? Not even subscribed.
Hey, Doug, would you still record all your little videos even if you were not showing us on YouTube and Zoom?
Some of them, yes.
You're just adding more work to yourself, you know.
No, some of them I do anyway, because sometimes I go back for some particular purpose and I'm kind of documenting what's going on. There are other ifs available, but it really doesn't take very long to do these at all. Commonly, I've got my phone right there. It's just pretty quick and easy to do these things. And my clients, particularly this client, knows that I use and gave me permission to use images from their office. I just avoid personally identifiable information and so forth. And they consider themselves to be a teaching office. They take many times employees that come to work for them as office assistants, and I have seen them actually go through their training and schooling to become full-fledged lawyers. In fact, one of the current new partners, managing partner in this firm, started out as support staff, and they helped them go through school. So they're very much on board with teaching new service people, in their case lawyers, in my case technicians. Let's see, where is my mouse? It's over on Baby Beast. There we go. So what I'm not showing now, you see this red X. Maria P. This is a computer that I back up from the server. This is the bookkeeper's computer. There's content data on her computer that needs to be backed up. She's the only computer in the office that we specifically need to be backing up. And recently her backups have been failing. I'm going to take you through some troubleshooting of that and let you know where I'm currently at. So what I'm about to do here is just click on the M drive. That's going to clear that red X. This is a common thing, but that's not what the source of the trouble was. So I clicked on it, and that brought up the folders that are on her computer. And I want you to notice that the data folder is there. And then here when I go into Macrium Reflect, we're seeing success here. This is the D drive for that server. This is the COM server. But here we see failed, and that's the Maria file and folder backup failed. And then down here, the prior day, it failed. Prior day, it failed. Prior day, it failed. I started the troubleshooting of this last week. Now, this computer also does a partition backup to the second partition on that computer. So this isn't the only form of backup for that computer. And going to the next screen, This is what the log showed, and it's telling me that it failed because the folders are not found. It's saying that the folders on this computer in that share could not be found. Going to the next photo. So what I did to troubleshoot this is I went over here to run now. I'm on the scheduled backups tab. I'm going to that particular scheduled backup and I'm telling it to run now. Because last week I was able to do a run now and it was successful. Was that last week or 2 weeks ago? I'm not sure. I might have even been connected remotely. But anyway, last time I tried run now, it worked. So I was scratching my head. How come it's working when I manually launch it, but not through the scheduled backups? Now that might give some of you an idea right now, and you're going to be wrong. So next arrow, when I click to do that, it tells me it's about to run. And then down here, it's telling me that that backup is started. And then here we see this backup that I manually launched is running right now. And then it failed. So here's a case where I manually launched the backup and it failed. Last time I tried it, it worked. We're going to find out why here in a moment. A little bit about why. So here's where I went to look at that log. This is the one from doing it this morning. I don't think the actual date and time is visible on this screen. Not important anyway. So now I do Windows key R and I'm putting in / the name of the computer to see, is the server actually able to see that computer right now? And yes, it is. Here is that computer in that data folder. It is present. So the server is able to see that computer and that share. Right arrow key. So now I'm coming back to, we're still on scheduled backups. Right click on full and run now. Oh, that's right. I'm trying it again. After I just successfully was able to browse to that computer in that folder, will it work now? Right arrow key, it's going to start the backup. Right arrow key, and no, here's failures again. Now, last time it failed, I didn't show you this particular part of the report, but this is the same report, and here's the bottom part of it. Could not be found. So what is going on? So now I'm coming to a different place. I'm coming up here to the definition for the backup and right-clicking on the definition. Last time I was running it from this scheduled backups tab. This is the actual definition. This defines what do you want to back up, where do you want to back it up to. This other tab was for each of the individually scheduled backups. Because sometimes there's full backups, sometimes there's incremental backups, sometimes there's differential backups. This is like the parent of them all. So I'm coming to edit that. And I see that all of those folders are accessible to the definition for this backup. So that checks out. This is troubleshooting that I'm going through. So I right click again. And now I'm going to run now full backup. I'm going to try running that full backup from the definition rather than from the scheduled task. Give me a 1 in chat if you think it's going to work. Give me a 0 in chat if you think it's going to fail. While we're waiting for you to respond, I'll do an ad break. Rick gave me a 1. TG gives me a 1. Tim Cruz gives me a 1.
Official Tim Tech said 1, no.
Ran Israel 0. Selden Ball 1. Let's go bring those up on screen. Here is what you have committed to. Most people say they think it's going to be successful. Greg M is saying corrupted job definition. If it's, well, we're going to run it from the definition. If you think it's a corrupted definition, why do you think this is going to succeed? You're thinking it's a corrupted definition, but it's going to succeed? I would have thought you were going to say 0. Okay, so there's your responses. Go right arrow key. I'm going to run this interactively. When I was doing it off the scheduled backups, it didn't ask this question. Here's all these folders, overall progress. We see a progress indicator here and time remaining. Going on to the next photo, we see the backup is running. So it found that content to do the backup, and it is running from the definition, but not from the scheduled backups. Hello, Kate Cordius Technology. And he said 0. He said he thought it was going to fail. It's running. Right here at this point, it's estimating 1 hour and 34 minutes to complete. And that was the last of those photos. So my next move, and I'll connect to it remotely tomorrow, no, later today. I'll connect to it remotely and 3 columns, 3 rows, and delete the scheduled backups and recreate them, because I think it's corrupted scheduled backups. The definition is working, so I think it's fine. I think it's the scheduled backups that are damaged or corrupted. Yeah, Ran Israel saying it's not a definition issue. I'm thinking it's the actual scheduled backups. Ran Israel, why is it configured to look for UNC paths instead of network drives? It's not a strong reason to do that, but I have had problems in the past with other environments where mapped drive letters is one extra thing that can break. The name of the computer is not going to break, but a drive mapping, that's just one extra element, one extra thing that could go wrong. The UNC paths work, so that's what I do. And as a matter of fact, it's quite possible this Macrium Reflect, when you choose the drive letter, I'm not sure, but it might actually convert it to the UNC path. UNC path is the / and then computer name. Okay, let's go say hello. Hello, Chris Garrett.
Hey, Doug, I want to ask you something.
Yes, go ahead.
Do you have kin folks in Georgia?
No.
I saw a work truck, it said Betts Drilling, and we were wondering, the Zoom homies were wondering if that could have been, if they were drilling rabbit holes for you.
Rabbit holes. No. I might write a letter to them and try to claim that I'm due some back payments from them for using my name. All right, let's do an ad break because I just got another thing in my ear telling me to do that. Did you have any other questions or comments to bring, Chris?
No, I'm just still on hotspot.
Oh, that's right. You for those who
they have to resplice a lot of that wire. They have to resplice.
Yeah. For those who don't know, Chris Garrett's area was affected by the hurricane. I can't quite remember the name of it. What was this one named? Say again.
Helene, 200 miles inland, and we were affected.
Yeah, that's a weird. Helene. Does it start with an H?
H-E, Helene.
H-E, Helene. Yeah. Odd name. All right. Yeah, so best wishes for speedy recovery. It's too late for that. It's already not speedy, isn't it?
Ken Stoutlive said Helene.
Oh, Helene. Oh, it's Helen with an E on the end. All right, Helene. Got it.
Not Helen. Helene. It's Helene.
Helene. Yeah, it's not Helen, but it's
John Williams said Helene.
with an E on the end.
Official Tim Tech said they gave the storm name a sissy name.
Yeah. Okay. Now.
Definitely wasn't no sissy.
No, it was a very, very bad storm. But the stories I heard about people deciding to stay rather than evacuate, against advice, apparently they got along okay. I think, let's see, 3 columns, 2 rows there. All right, moving along. That is, I think I'm going to break these out into more segments here. For those who don't know, I edit these descriptions after the show is done, sometime usually during the next 24 hours. And what that gives you the ability to do is if you go to watch a stream after it's completed, you got these timestamps available to click on that you can get to them. Now I'm doing that from the studio, so you're not actually seeing it right. If I go to show the video the way you would see it, you go to live and then choose one of my prior videos. This technique means you can come into these sections in the video and click on these timestamps, and it'll take you right to that point in the video. So if you aren't able to be around when I'm doing a live show, or you don't have time to watch it all the way through, you can come back and see if there's anything in here that piques your interest and just go watch that portion of the show. That's the reason why I do that. Currently, like you've seen before, I've tried many different things, and some things have stuck around and some have not. So I was just going back to see if I have what I have next. HW info, unique features of the ZenAero. Oh, no show Monday. No show Monday due to cranky butt. All right. Somebody's got to wonder, what does he mean by that? I think I'm going to play hooky on Monday from the show because I am just feeling like a cranky butt right now, and I'm going to show you a couple pictures that explains a little bit about that. I have recently seemed to have many technical things that just aren't working right and just aren't severe enough to warrant putting much time into, and they're just irritating me. And I get irritable, and I recognize when I get irritable like that, it's time for me to take a little time off. So I think all that's going to mean is skipping a show on Monday. It's going to give me enough of that. So I've got a couple pictures here to show you one of the little irritations. Recently, my watch and my cell phone have repeatedly through the day given me these prompts. Do you want to allow weather to be able to access your location? And I say yes, every time, yes, while using the app. Most permissive choice ever. I have several different technical things doing this right now. So here is this happening again. Allow weather to use your location. Your location is used to show local weather in the weather app and complication. When I read this one this morning, it's the first time I've seen this particular version of this message. I don't even understand what that means. Used to show local weather in the weather app and complication. What? Now the next picture. Allow once, allow while using the app, or don't allow. I've been always choosing allow while using the app, and it keeps coming back and asking me that again. It does that on my phone. It does that on my watch. And I have other things on my computers that keep asking me to authorize something like that over and over and over. It's like, stop it. Last night I was so irritated about it that I went into the living room, sat on the couch, and there was a particular person who I like very much, one of my favorite people in the world, but there's one thing about him that just irritates the heck out of me. And last night I went and sat on my couch, And out loud, I yelled at him about this thing that he does. And it was only because I was just irritated. I know myself well enough that when I get into that frame of mind, I need to back away, take a little time off, chill out. I only tell that story because maybe somebody else
Doug, it's funny
recognizes
you're
that.
talking about being annoyed by the notifications. When there's one thing that Apple does that Android does not do that I like a whole bunch, and that's that every time you install a new app, Apple
Ken
asks if you
Stoutlive
want.
said, yes, I heard you all the way here in Indiana.
Apple asks if you want to allow the notifications. Android does not. So by default, they allow the notifications. So every time I install a new app, I have to try to remember to go in to the app settings in the settings and tell that individual app no.
Yeah, all right. Yeah, well, I can understand why you'd find that annoying. Okay, once again, Ken Stout thinks it's all about him. No, that was not about you, Ken. I know he's just saying that to be funny. It wasn't about you, Ken, this time. Okay. I just got another ad break in my ear, so I'll do that.
Ken Stout Live said, I will try harder.
Oh, he's going to try harder to annoy me. That's what it is. Hardware info, unique features of the ZenAero Latop. Does anybody want to request one of those over the other?
Official Tim Tech said, good golly, Miss Molly.
Yeah. Monday is a federal holiday. What month is this? October? I'm sorry, I don't recognize what holiday that is. Aero Latop, Rand Israel says. Let's see that. Now we've got three
Read chat,
rows,
please.
3 columns, 3 rows. Jeff Ryman. Oh, Columbus Day. All right. If you gave me multiple choice, I probably would have selected that one.
Or the politically correct way to say it is Indigenous Peoples Day, I believe.
Oh, all right. Hello, Ken Stout.
Hello, Doug. Thought I would join and possibly make you go yell at the couch again.
All right. All right.
I don't have anything.
Okay. Well, I gotta go do something here in honor of you showing up. Oh yeah. Let's go do
Oh,
this.
I can imagine. Here comes a little blue I thing don't think across he the screen. understands it. I don't think Doug will get it. Oh my goodness.
That volume's
shoot.
probably too soft. Oh, you're not even hearing this on Zoom though.
I watched not real attentively. No volume on Zoom.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's get past that. Okay. So the Aero Latop. This laptop, I told you, I think it was a couple days ago when I did the unboxing of it. I ordered this out of frustration that the Ace Magic laptops never got delivered so far. They have now told me that all of the remaining 3 that I ordered will be delivered towards the end of October. I'll have the same delivery date. I actually ordered 4 of the Ace Magics. I ordered 1 off of their website and 3 off of Amazon. And I have received 1 of them. And I did an unboxing of that, or unpackaging. It was in a package that indicated it came from eBay. And there was an address in New Jersey, I think it was, that it came from. I still don't know which of those 4 that one was, because none of those 4 show as delivered. So I found this one for a similar price and ordered it. And actually I'm very intrigued with it. I haven't spent much time with it yet, but when I ordered it, it said it was 12 gigabytes of RAM. And I showed you the other day where we discovered on live, unscripted, that it was 16 gigabytes of RAM, not 12. Okay, let's Do I
I
want
won't
to do?
tell if you won't.
Yeah. That is my reminder to check to see if Carrie Holzman is scheduled to show.
Ron Israel said 12 usable.
You have 12 usable, but still it was advertised. If you were selling a computer with physically 16 gigabytes of RAM, would you say it had 12 gigabytes when it actually physically had 16? I don't think that's what they were doing. I'm checking. Nope, Carrie does not have a show scheduled. All right, let's see. I think the keyboard camera, I really haven't done much with lately. The unboxing camera, let's use that one. Okay, I'm disconnecting the HDMI so that I can move it over to this camera because I want to show you a couple things physically about the computer that are a little somewhat intriguing. I'm interested in this fingerprint sensor. I have not so far ever done a fingerprint sensor. I need to check the change the automatic focusing there because that's going to drive us nuts. So that's a fingerprint sensor. I'd never seen that before, but I've seen some of these inexpensive laptops of brands that I haven't seen before. Several of them have that. There's these extra keys here. This one for AI, this one for Bing, this one for Intel Unison, whatever that is. Each of these keys do bring up what they claim to be.
Frosty Winnipeg said, "Does the AI button bring up Copilot?"
I'll bring that up on screen and show you what it brings up when I plug that back in. But first, I want to show you a little bit more about it. The ports on it, I like. It's got two USB-Cs, that one and that one. The HDMI, two USB Type A, 3 something or other. Then on this side, it's got the Kensington lock, audio jack, a network, an Ethernet port, which not all the laptops have, and I think the Ace Magic laptop specifically did not have. There's a USB Type A that I have my transceiver plugged in for my wireless keyboard and mouse, and then the micro SD card. Then the thing I discovered, I think I just noticed this yesterday, is this panel here. It actually has just a little panel here to get to the NVMe drive without taking the entire panel off. I thought for such an inexpensive laptop, those are some nice little innovations that I like. The screws, it looks like it's going to be pretty easy to disassemble. I don't know if I'm going to wind up doing that at all, because I don't have much reason to. There's a little pinhole access here and a pinhole access here. I don't know what those are for. And there is also a pinhole access here or something there. I don't know if it's a microphone or what. There's a camera here, which I have not tried yet. There's a 1, 2, 3 pinholes there. Certainly one or more of those are microphones. But I just thought there was more to this computer than I really expected. I don't think it's a touch screen. No. All right. So that's enough of that physical stuff. Let's go plug it in. All right. This was like $250, $260, somewhere around there. There it is. And I showed you and pointed out already that this computer, I can get into BIOS and my capture card will show that. And it's the first laptop that I've ever seen that'll do that of the HDMI generation of computers. Back in VGA laptops, I was able to do that. But this is the first time I've been able to do that with an HDMI laptop. Okay. I'm going to do the ad break again. I have not put in nearly enough new topics. In fact, I'm going to hit that a few times over. And the reason why I'm doing that a few times is because when I go to create those breaks or put those subjects in where they need to be, when I modify the description, it's easier if the text file has that those flags already present. I really bungled explaining that to you. Don't worry about it. Okay, capture. Bring that keyboard and mouse over. I'm going to pop out in OBS. I'm going to pop out that full screen projector preview so I can see it big and full. Sign in. And then, okay, so I have to press the button on the computer itself for the AI. So here's the AI button. It brings up ChatGPT right in here. So in the address bar of the Edge browser, it took us right to message ChatGPT. Now, some of these more current computers have a AI processor. I'm not remembering what they call that correctly. I have no idea if this computer has one of those. I'm hard pressed to imagine that it would at this price point. So what do we want to do? There it is. How can I cook steak in the oven? So yeah, so a single press of the AI button to get into here. I don't know if that's a big deal. I can't say that I think it was really worth putting a special button on here, but that's what they did. So the next one is Bing. I think that's going to do what you are already imagining. So here's the Bing button. Goes straight to Bing search. And then the next one is Intel Unison. I have already pressed this to see it myself, but I don't know what this is. I didn't look at it at all. So it takes a little while for this to launch. Oh, I see it down on the taskbar. It's kind of pulsing down on the taskbar. So I'm going to go click that, see if this brings it up. Welcome to Intel Unison. Seamlessly use your phone from your PC. Yeah, because I want to do that. Not. So that's what that is. Accept and continue. Let's just see what it goes on to. Share a crash and data statistics. That's really what you lead with? Allow. How would you like to use Unison? Empower your PC. Connect your PC and devices for a universal, easy to use experience. Exchange files with anyone. Yeah. Seen enough of that. Okay. Let's do, I've got more stuff on my screen than what you're seeing. So let's get that and that. There we go. So now we're back to the desktop. Oh, great. Here's Teams. I have not done anything with this since I last showed it to you. And really all I was looking to do was show you that physical stuff about it at this point. I do intend to do other stuff on stream with this computer moving forward, and particularly within the realm of I intend to experiment with encryption because I am concerned about that for my own purposes. I'd like to demonstrate if somebody were to steal this laptop, or if I were to lose it, how I can wipe it remotely by virtue of the Microsoft account capabilities. And there's other things. Yeah, enough said for now. NPU. Thank you, TG and Rick Lakes. That's what yeah, I have no idea if it has an NPU in it. I feel like I'm winding down. It must be close to quitting time.
Got about 5 minutes.
Mm-hmm. And I don't feel any obligation to stretch. Let's go see if there's anything in chat. Only more modern CPUs like Arrow Lake or ARM COUs have NPUs. I can't imagine this would have an NPU, but with those buttons on the keyboard, particularly the AI button, seems like that would be sensible if you had an NPU, maybe. John Williams, power outage. Welcome back. Let's see, I already looked at that. So I do need to look for oranges. Try setting permissions in settings, not in the app itself. Okay, I'll go look at that later. I haven't put any thought towards trying to fix that. The only thing that I've tried to do to fix that is close the app and restart the phone and restart the watch. None of that worked. Anything else in orange? Unboxing camera color balance is very blue, low priority. Yeah, I need to spend time with both of those cameras and get them fixed out. Also fixed up. Also, that unboxing camera just doesn't focus well. These are the exact same model camera, so similar that when I go to choose the camera in OBS properties, it's the same name, same model name, but yet that one focuses better. And that's another thing with these cameras is every time I do a show, I have to fix this main camera exposure. Little caveat to that. There are certain circumstances where I don't have to fix it. Okay, if there's any last questions, ask them now. Last call. Did that. Because I am tired. What's this link? What is the feature recall in Windows 11? Yeah, I knew it's like, oh, the AI, that's recalling what you had been doing on the computer, where it takes snapshots of your screen every few seconds and you can go back to see what you're doing earlier. And there was a point in time where that was automatically going to be turned on, and I think there was a bunch of outrage over that. And
imagine that.
If I remember right, I think they backed off from it. I really can't speak to that off the top of my head very well.
Go ahead. I'm sorry. They've made it opt-in at this point so that it's not on by default.
All right.
And there is...
Frosty Winnipeg said, is recall replacing timeline because it feels like a twist on it.
Respond to that in a minute, Frosty.
No idea what that would be.
Sort of.
And also, if I remember correctly, I can't say this is 100% accurate, but I think there was a point where you could not uninstall it, and now you can.
All right.
But don't quote me on that last part, because I'm not sure.
All right. I'll respond to Frosty's comment. Is recall replacing timeline because it feels like a twist on it? And I think what that is referring to is task view, which I currently have turned off. I'll turn it on. And that gives us this icon down here in the bottom left. When you click on that, that's where you can
ZV Manor said you can disable it only.
Can disable it only, meaning you cannot enable it. Not quite sure there. But anyway, with task view, you can create other desktops. There's a desktop 1 and desktop 2. But when it used to be you could scroll down from here and see your timeline, see the history of what you have been doing on your computer. And that is gone. That disappeared around the time or just before the time that...
ZV Manor said you cannot uninstall it.
Oh, okay, that's what he meant. Yeah, that timeline feature on task view, that went away around the time when they started talking about recall. You can disable it, you cannot uninstall it. All right. Microsoft will probably auto-enable it in future Windows updates, or could. Chicken. Hello, Chicken. First I've noticed your name. Welcome. I wish Microsoft didn't end Windows 10 support. Windows 11 is a huge disaster. I don't agree with that.
Huge disaster for people who don't have the hardware to run it. That's all.
Yes, yes, that is true. And there's a lot of things I don't like about how they did it. Because one of the most significant things as I upgrade my clients is I have to show them how to shut down their computer. It's different. And it's not intuitive. Because the way they used to shut down their computer is just gone. So now when people go to the start button, once they realize it's over in the center, my start button is still centered. It's just way over here on the left because I got so much stuff on my taskbar and my system tray. When
So
they
much
click on...
stuff? I got another word for it, but I'm not going to go there.
They see this screen and they have no idea. How do I shut down the computer? How do I restart it? And it's over here on the power button. And I think with 24H2, that's even changed again, isn't it? On some computers I've seen, it doesn't look like this round power button anymore, but you click on that. Now here's where you have shutdown and restart. So that's the most...
I've got that same power thing, and I'm running 24H2. So,
all right, I don't know.
Doug, I have an idea, Doug.
Yeah.
Why don't you do what I do on my mom's computer and just go into the power options in the control panel and tell it to turn off tell it to shut down the computer when you press the physical power button.
Well, then I have to explain to every one of my clients that is the way to do it now, and I'll tell them that, and they won't remember an hour later. So
you give them a whole hour. Oh my, aren't you gracious?
Yeah, no, it's very, very useful and important to reduce and restrict and eliminate any user training as much as possible. However, that's one side of it. The other side of it is...
Ran Israel said create a big shutdown shortcut icon on their desktops.
Well, that violates the next thing I'm about to say, Ran, is don't do customizations to cater to them. Because if I do customizations, then they bring in a new employee. That employee doesn't know about that customization. That's another training point. So I try as much as possible to keep it native to the Windows operating system and don't add other things that gives them, oh, but you can do it this way on this computer because I customized it for you. And
don't run the app that makes it look like Windows 7 or Windows XP.
No, absolutely not. And not only because of people just need to learn the new system so that when they go to another computer, they'll be okay with how to use it. I want their office computers to work the same way their home computers are. If they're customizing their home computer, that's fine. They know they're doing that. And then the other thing is if you use one of those utilities to change the way it looks, that might be a compatibility issue with some future Windows update. So I don't want to invite more potential compatibility problems down the road. Those are
may
my
remember
choices.
A while back, there was a little flap about people were unhappy because some of those customization things that made it look like another version or whatever didn't work anymore.
Right.
And one of the reasons was some of the folks who make those were using undocumented APIs.
Right.
They were not using the APIs that are documented in the Windows programming guides. And Microsoft wants to be able to remove those undocumented APIs in the future, maybe.
Yeah.
And so that's why they didn't like people using them. That's what I read on a bunch of streams anyway.
Another piece is if another technician comes in behind me. If I have everything as native as possible, it's an easy transition for them. As you know, I have transitioned a former client that I fired because I didn't want to work for them anymore. And everything in that office was pretty straight and native. When I go to a new client, for instance, and I find that there's a bunch of odd customizations that I'm not familiar with, then I got to figure out what's going on here and how do I deal with it. That makes me an unhappy camper, but I just deal with it. Let's see, I've got a couple of comments from Chicken. I wish Microsoft didn't. Okay, saw that. Now you can continue using Windows 10 if you insist on it. If you do, my recommendation would be don't have anything of your private personal information or identity on that computer. Don't be going to sketchy websites. Be very educated about recognizing scam emails so that you don't fall for something. Make sure that you're using two-factor authentication on every account that you're signing into. Use complex passwords. Be sure that you're living as clean and right as you're supposed to regarding security if you're going to violate this one security thing about staying with Windows 10. But hey, the world moves on. My first choice would be that you come into the 2025 and participate. Gaming performance, even with high-end specs, Linux is running AMD 9000 series way better. If you're into Linux, hey, more power to you. Go ahead. You got my blessings on that. It's not feasible for business offices, and that's where my living is.
That's why Linux will remain a very low percentage of the desktop market.
Yeah, it's never going to make inroads into business. And there's so many different distributions. I mean, the first thing you got to decide if you're going to go down the Linux road is what distro are you going to use?
Yeah, it's only like about what, 3 dozen, something like that.
Oh, good grief! And then
every day you see some YouTuber with a stream that says everybody's going to switch to Linux now. And
my response to that is the same thing from the TV series back in the I want to say 70s. My dear friends, I'm Mr. Rock, your host. Welcome to Fantasy Island.
There you go.
I used to put comments on those, and I've just given up. You know.
Yeah.
It's like I'm building a Linux box to do exactly what this guy says. It runs calculations fast on that series of CPUs. But once my calculations are done, I have to write a report. And guess what software I'm going to use? I'm going to use Excel and Word to write the damn report. That's why I'm dual booting it, so I can pull the results over and do it in Windows. You know.
Let's. I'm going to want to respond to TG's comment. I recall Microsoft saying Windows 10 was the last version we would ever need. No, that is not what they said. The only thing that, as I understand, the only thing that was ever tracked down as to something that was actually said was a Microsoft employee speaking at a conference, in a seminar, and the closest accurate quote that I heard out of that from a reporter who was there, I think it was Mary, what was her name?
Mary Jo Foley, I believe.
Yeah, Mary Jo Foley. She was there, and this is the only direct quote about it, is a person made a comment that was misinterpreted by most of the press that was in the room, misinterpreted and requoted him incorrectly as saying Windows 10 was the last version that will ever be, when what he actually said was something to the effect of, and I'm not quoting this correctly, but it was to the effect of this last version of Windows, and he went on talking about it. He used the word last, but that was just because it was the latest. He could have said this latest version of Windows, or this latest version of Windows 10, but he said the word is last, and everybody interpreted that as Microsoft saying this Windows 10 is the last version that there will ever be. There's not been any documentation that I've ever seen that they actually said that the way that it's being quoted here. And I know, TG, you've heard that at lots of places. They're just wrong until somebody actually gives documentation about it, because all I've ever heard is loose quotes like this. And I need to, address this, because this has now been put out in my show. And if I don't respond to it, then that's my show saying that Microsoft Windows 10 was the last version that we would ever need. No, never said that. If anyone knows anything different, then please school me on it. Okay, I think we're good there. Let's call it a wrap. I will keep Zoom open for a little bit, and I'll ask you in Zoom to say goodbye to the audience, please.
Good night, John Boy.
Goodbye.
John Williams said, "Thanks for the live stream. Enjoy the rest of the weekend."
Thank you, John, and same to you, same to everybody. Best wishes to everybody who has suffered through whatever traumas and troubles that have come your way lately. And I hope you have an enjoyable weekend. There's the email address if you want to send a question by email for me to respond to during live shows.
Official Tim Tech said, "Ta everyone, God bless you, Doug."
All right. Thank you, Tim. Goodbye.
I'll put you a link in the chat.